under arrest accused of providing sensitive national security information to China. Andrea Mitchell has late details for us.
Tonight, the Justice Department says the two Navy sailors have each been arrested for selling military secrets to China.
Sensitive military information ended up in the hands of the People's Republic of China.
The first defendant, 22-year-old Jinchao Wei, faces espionage charges.
Wei sent national defense information to China, including documents, photos, videos, and technical manuals. In exchange, his intelligence officer paid Wei thousands of dollars.
Authorities say Wei, a machinist mate on the USS Essex in San Diego, sent the Chinese intelligence officer photos of military hardware and vehicles and divulged information about warfare exercises. The second person charged in a separate case, 26-year-old Petty Officer Wenhang Zhao from a naval base in Ventura County, California. Federal authorities allege Zhao received approximately $15,000 from a Chinese intelligence officer in exchange for sharing operational plans, Navy movements, and blueprints for a radar system at a U.S. military base in Okinawa, Japan.
In short, Mr. Zhao chose a path of corruption.
The indictments come amid heightened fears about China-based cyber espionage, with Microsoft reporting that Chinese-backed hackers broke into the email accounts of State and Commerce Department employees, including the Secretary of Commerce. Both men held security clearances. Zhao just appeared in federal court and pleaded not guilty.
Thanks for watching our...
All right, so y'all just heard that right there. And this was actually sent to me by one of my subscribers on Instagram. I usually don't get many stories sent to me through Instagram, but this one I said I couldn't pass up. So first off, let me just say that what you just heard is not uncommon, where you have these people who basically act as they are in something or involved in something, but they're really operating undercover, more so like a spy or an agent or some kind of an op. And that's exactly what these two were doing. The part that got me, before I really get into it, was one getting $15,000, and it was this one right here on the right who got $15,000 to do what he did, which is pretty low brow considering how much money you're getting paid in the military anyway, which equals out to way more than $15,000 annually. But I guess crumbs is crumbs. Don't matter how big or small the crumb is, I guess. But what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna read this article from the Associated Press that actually is gonna fill in some more information as well involving these two individuals. It is two U.S. Navy sailors were charged Thursday with providing sensitive military information to China, including details of wartime exercises, naval operations, and critical technical material. The two sailors, both based in California, were charged with similar moves to provide sensitive intelligence to the Chinese, but they were separate cases, and it wasn't clear if the two were courted or paid by the same Chinese intelligence officer as part of a larger scheme. Federal officials at a news conference in San Diego declined to specify whether there is any tie between the cases. Both men pleaded not guilty in federal courts in San Diego and Los Angeles. They were ordered to be held until their detention hearings, which will take place August 8th in those same cities. U.S. officials had for years expressed concern about the espionage threat they say the Chinese government poses, bringing criminal cases in recent years against Beijing intelligence operatives who have stolen sensitive government and commercial information through illegal hacking. The pair of cases also comes on the heels of another insider threat prosecution tied to the U.S. military, with the Justice Department in April arresting a Massachusetts Air National Guardsman on charges of leaking classified military documents about Russia's war in Ukraine, and other sensitive national security topics on Discord and social media platforms popular with people playing online games. U.S. officials said the cases exemplify China's brazenness in trying to obtain insight into U.S. military operations. Through the alleged crimes committed by these defendants, sensitive military information ended up in the hands of the People's Republic of China, said Matt Olson, the Assistant Attorney General for National Security at the Department of Justice. He added that the charges demonstrate the Chinese government's determination to obtain information that is critical to our national defense by any means, so it could be used to their advantage. And that's really what it boils down to, because with the information that these two most likely sent to them, that could leave this establishment vulnerable for attack because they'll know how to counter it. That's basically what it boils down to. Jin Chao Wei, and by the way, Jin Chao Wei is the one on the left. A 22-year-old sailor assigned to the San Diego-based USS Essex was arrested Wednesday while boarding the ship. He is accused of providing detailed information on the weapon system and aircraft aboard the Essex and other amphibious assault ships that act as small aircraft carriers. Prosecutors said Wei, who was born in China, was approached by a Chinese intelligence officer in February 2022 while he was applying to become a naturalized U.S. citizen, and admitted to the officer that he knew the arrangement could affect his application. What have I told y'all? When people come over, a lot of people come over here, they're going to bring their habits with them. This guy was literally trying to become a naturalized citizen, and at the same time that was going on, that's when he was propositioned to do what he did. Even so, with the officer's request, Wei provided photographs and videos of Navy ships, including the USS Essex, which can carry an array of helicopters, according to an indictment unsealed Thursday. The indictment alleges Wei included as many as 50 manuals containing technical and mechanical data about Navy ships, as well as details about the number and training of Marines during an upcoming exercise. Wei continued to send sensitive information multiple times over the course of a year, and even was congratulated by the Chinese officer once Wei became a U.S. citizen, said U.S. Attorney Randy Grossman for the Southern District of California. He added that whether for greed or for some other reason, Wei chose to turn his back on his newly adopted country. The Justice Department charged Wei under a Rarely Used Espionage Act statute that makes it a crime to gather or deliver information and aid a foreign government. After pleading not guilty in San Diego, Wei was assigned a new public defender who declined to comment following the hearing. Wei did not visibly react when read the charges. I don't even know why he pleaded not guilty, considering there's evidence to prove that he and this other dude did what they did. But okay, I guess. Assistant U.S. Attorney Fred Shepard told the judge that Wei had passed information to Chinese intelligence as recently as 2 days ago. Now, mind you, the article I'm reading from was posted August the 4th, and I'm reading this August the 5th. So you're talking about as of August 2nd, he was still giving information out. He said Wei, who also went by the name Patrick Wei, told a fellow sailor in February 2022 that he was being recruited for what is quite obviously espionage. Shepard said Wei has made $10,000 to $15,000 in the past year from the arrangement. If convicted, he could face up to life in prison. The officer instructed Wei to hide their relationship and destroy evidence to help them cover their tracks. The Justice Department also charged sailor Wenheng Zhao, age 26, who's the one on the right, based at Naval Base Ventura County, north of Los Angeles, with conspiring to collect nearly $15,000 in bribes from a Chinese intelligence officer in exchange for information, photos, and videos of involving Navy exercises, operations, and facilities between August 2021 through at least this May. The information included plans for a large-scale U.S. military exercise in the Indo-Pacific region, which detailed the locations and timing of naval force movements. The Chinese officer told Zhao the information was needed for maritime economic research to inform investment decisions, according to the indictment. The Associated Press was unable to reach the federal public defender assigned to Zhao, who pleaded not guilty in Los Angeles. The indictment further alleges that Zhao photographed electrical diagrams and blueprints for a radar system stationed in U.S. military base in Okinawa, Japan. Prosecutors say Zhao, who also went by the name Thomas Zhao, also surreptitiously recorded information that he handed over. If convicted, Zhao could face a maximum sentence of 20 years in federal prison. It was unclear if federal officials were looking at other U.S. sailors. At the Pentagon, General Pat Ryder told reporters that, "I think we have clear policies and procedures in place when it comes to safeguarding and protecting sensitive information. If those rules are violated, appropriate action will be taken." He declined to discuss any specifics of the case. Olsen said the charges reflect that China stands apart in terms of the threat that its government poses to the United States. China is unrivaled in its audacity and in the range of its malign efforts to subvert our laws. He added that the U.S. will use every tool in our arsenal to counter the threat and to deter China and those who have violated the rule of law and threaten our national security. That's quite interesting. In my opinion, I would say send them back. Well, you know what? I don't know if that's the best thing to do, considering what kind of information they've already sent to China already. So who knows if they'll actually be punished if you actually did send them back to China. But that's crazy. And like I said, this is not uncommon. You'll be surprised how much this actually happens when you have people who are, whether they're American-born citizens or not, who will involve themselves into sending information to these other nations that will be seen as an enemy in some aspects of how to subvert our efforts here in order to make us vulnerable to an attack. And they had two planted right underneath their noses. Well, I hope that with whatever court proceedings that they do have involving these two individuals, that they actually go through and that they both get the book thrown at them. Now, they said this one right here could serve up to, keywords there is up to, life in prison for what he did. And this one can get a maximum of 20 years, which means, you know, that could be like an up to thing as well. Well, I say give them the max, because again, they leave us very, very vulnerable with what they did. And yet again, this is your so-called model minority, and I'm using so-called and putting that in quotations, especially after that video I did with with Dr. Rita Sue or Suh. Nothing very model about this. This is not, you know, this is not model minority behavior. Remember, the so-called definition of a model minority, of the so-called model minority, is for other people who are not white to follow their blueprint. I'm guessing if that was the case, we would be doing what they're doing right now, I guess.